What thoughts run through your head when something does not turn out the way that you expected it to? Most of 2020 was not what we expected it to be. My sister and her family live in Portland, and honestly, we were really disappointed when we had to cancel our road trip up to see them. We had planned it during a time where we thought maybe it was possible to do a road trip up there, but we decided to cancel it when the COVID numbers started to surge, and we were really disappointed. And I know that we weren't alone in having to cancel plans, adjust our expectations. Many of us had to juggle many new different kind of roles from day to day, and all of us mourning the loss of our normal lives. We have been learning in the past couple of weeks on Mondays how to build up your resilience muscle through exploring the life of Apostle Paul. Paul being someone who had experienced significant hardships and challenges all throughout his life, but emerging with even stronger conviction and strength. 2 Mondays ago, we discovered that he had resilience because he was rooted in a higher purpose, a purpose that was unseen and eternal, and it gave him renewed energy inside, despite his outward wasting away. Last Monday, we learned through his letters in the Bible that he consistently practiced gratitude and thanksgiving, despite the situations that he was in. We as a church body have had to make drastic adjustments this year to the way that we connect and worship. Last March, we were suddenly torn apart from seeing each other and worshiping in person together. Some of you may have felt shock, disappointment, sadness, and maybe even anger. And others may have felt relieved and maybe even happy for the respite. And whatever your initial reactions were, it's understandable. However, what was your perspective or your thoughts when thinking about our situation? What kind of patterns did you notice in your thoughts? Do they tend to be optimistic, negative, or critical to yourself or to others? Let's look to see how Paul handled hard situations and what his perspective was. If we take a look at 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 7 through 9, Paul says, "But we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us. We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not abandoned. Struck down, but not destroyed." What do you notice? What do you hear in what Paul is writing? One thing that jumps out to me is Paul's acknowledgement of God. He knows that despite the fragile nature of who we are, these breakable, common jars of clay, that we have this treasure, the knowledge of who God is and knowing that he has this all-surpassing power, and that's from him, not us. And secondly, he doesn't try to sugarcoat the situation and pretend, oh, everything's okay, we're okay. He says, we're hard pressed on every side. But he doesn't just stop there and just focus on that. He says, yeah, we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. His perspective of the situation was optimistic, encouraged, being rooted in knowing that we ultimately have this treasure, which is the knowledge of who God is and what he has done for us through Jesus Christ. Whether we are fully aware of it or not, we have thoughts continuously running through our minds throughout the day. And these thoughts over time begin to create a narrative of our lives and form how we perceive ourselves, perceive others, and how we fit into the world. Start taking notice of your thought patterns. Do you notice that your thoughts tend to immediately focus on negative aspects of a situation, filtering out anything that's positive, or maybe even taking a relatively minor incident and blowing it out of proportion so that it ends up ruining your day, or maybe even the days of the other people around you? Today, I challenge you to ask yourself 2 questions. Are my thoughts rooted in a place that knows my God has the all-surpassing power? And secondly, do I notice my thoughts only focusing on negative aspects of a situation? And if so, how can I, like Paul, start to focus on the silver lining? In doing so, you will continue to build up and strengthen your resilience muscle as we begin this new year. Next week, we will end our Monday series in learning how to build up resilience by exploring the life of Paul. And for now, I'd like to leave you with this prayer. May the love of the Father, the tenderness of the Son, and the presence of the Spirit gladden your heart and bring peace to your soul this day and all days. Amen.